civilization, equality, and such peace, whatever you wish to call it, are unnatural. They are outright anti-nature. It is said that if you put a frog in boiling water, it will immediately hop out. Or at least try to hop out. But if you put a frog in cold or room temperature water and then slowly bring it up to a boil, it will sit there and wait, and it will eventually die. Now, this is what a certain group of people have been doing to the natural, tribal peoples of this world. That being Asians, Asian tribes, European tribes, and Native American tribes, and African tribes. See, this particular group of individuals are themselves the products of anti-nature. So they are almost incapable of being pro-nature at all. They created a monotheist religion. But alright, let me get into it. What they're doing is the same thing with boiling the frog in the water. If you were to go into the ancient Germanic territories, or the ancient Celtic territories, or whatever, and you were to try and enforce the exact same civilization that we have today, with all the gender bullshit, the monotheism, the race bullshit, the gender bullshit, I think I already said that, or the sexuality stuff, all the equality, everything, the disarmament, there would be a mass revolt. Now, I'm only going to use European tribes in this example, but it can be seen in all of them. You see, what they first did was to get a little bit of civilization going in Southern Europe. Then, the next major step was to make everybody of that civilization their religion, the monotheist religion. So they kind of combined a few elements of their normal, or their natural pagan religion with their monotheist religion, and created a new monotheist religion. Eventually this empire was destroyed, and they spread their mental disease of Christianity throughout the entire continent of Europe. deceit, bribes, rape. They turned the European people against nature. But some of them hid in the shadows and still secretly practiced their natural traditions. Many of these people who were discovered were brutally executed. Over time, they slowly started to alter history to make sure that everyone would believe in this new monotheist religion. They turned the European people from strong and intelligent tribals into people so lazy and weak that they had to enslave others to do manual labor for them. But this was all part of the plan. They wanted everyone else to be mixed like them. So they ensured that slowly, over time, they flooded these areas with themselves and with people of different subraces. Eventually, a new area was found, a new continent, full of people who were still tribal, who still lived by the ways of nature. And they ensured that the natural traditions of these people were nearly eradicated from the face of the earth, just like they did with the Europeans. This was so they could enforce guilt into the Europeans later on, to brainwash them into self-hatred. Eventually, with the same intent, they allowed a second world war to break out, proclaiming with what little evidence they had that European pagans had wrongfully, brutally tried to eradicate them for seemingly no reason at all. Of course, Big Brother America came to save the day for all of them, for all the chosen ones. And slowly, they still tried to push more and more unnatural agendas. First, miscegnation, legalization of miscegnation, then the encouragement of miscegnation, then the victimization of people with unnatural sexual orientations, Then, the victimization of women to pit men and women against each other, and mask the natural differences that each sex had. Then, was to create an idea that being of an unnatural sexual orientation was good and encouraged, along with ideas that people should not have children, and that women should not have children whilst they are young, because their life is for them. YOLO. Then it was to say, well, prior to all this, they were also slowly starting to say that severely disabled and defective people were actually gifted by their God, and that they were actually better. And then it was to start saying that races were a myth, and that there were no different races of mankind. All of this was aided by the fact that these pawns all believed in one God that loved everybody equally, no matter what. Then they were to say that there were no sexes. And now they try to disarm us entirely. And to everyone who says, "Don't be afraid," America will never be disarmed. In the same way that I've described to you how their agenda works, yes, it can. Slowly, one at a time, maybe two at a time. They'll find the scariest guns, the scariest knives they can find, and ban them one by one, until people can't even own spoons.